Ah yes, the graphing calculator. That mysterious, overpriced plastic brick every student was forced to buy in high school. It had more buttons than cents, ran slower than dial-up internet, and somehow cost the same as a gaming console. You probably remember it. The Texas Instruments TI-84. That thing you used to pretend to do math while secretly playing Tetris. But here's the wild part. That little gray rectangle didn't just survive your algebra nightmares, it actually changed the way we learned. It's a story about innovation, stubbornness, and a dash of teenage rebellion. Because what started as a simple math tool turned into a platform that taught millions the basics of coding, logic, and problem solving, and maybe a little patience for when the screen froze. So let's hit second, plus enter, press trace, and graph our way through the surprisingly heroic history of the graphing calculator. Before the graphing calculator, math was basically a survival sport. You had slide rules, literal sticks that let you guess at numbers. Engineers swore by them, students swore at them. Then came the 1960s and 70s, a golden age of electronic innovation. Companies like Casio, Sharp, and Hewlett-Packard decided to make math easier, and accidentally made the future. Enter the HP 35, launched in 1972. It was the world's first handheld scientific calculator, built by Bill Hewlett and Dave Packard, the original garage guys of Silicon Valley. This thing turned engineers into wizards. You could multiply, divide, and calculate trigonometry without needing a single piece of paper. It was like carrying a pocket-sized math god. But it couldn't graph, and that was the next mountain to climb. In 1985, Casio looked at the world and said, math should be visual, and maybe a little dramatic. Enter the Casio FX7000G, the world's first graphing calculator. It had an LCD screen, 82 functions, and 422 bytes of memory, and that's less than a single emoji today. But it could plot equations in real time. For the first time ever, you could actually see your math come alive on screen. It was clunky, pixelated, and beautiful. Casio was founded by four brothers rebuilding after World War II, and this calculator was their victory lap. Proof that innovation doesn't need flash, just determination, timing, and maybe a few extra buttons. The FX7000G was the spark that ignited a new era of learning, and like every good invention, it inspired both progress and competition. Meanwhile in Texas, a company with a name straight out of a western, Texas Instruments, was sharpening its pencils. TI had already invented the integrated circuit, helped NASA reach space, and even made the world's first transistor radio. So when they decided to take on graphing calculators, they didn't bring a lasso. They brought a silicon arsenal. In 1990, they launched the TI-81. It wasn't fast, it wasn't pretty, but it worked, and teachers loved it. Then came the TI-82, TI-83, and the legendary TI-84. By the late 90s, these things were everywhere. TI pulled the classic move: upgrade the screen, change the color, add a plus, and keep the price the same. And people kept buying it. Because once schools standardized their textbooks and tests around TI calculators, the company had achieved the ultimate monopoly. They became required homework. Sure, it still ran on a 1970 Zlog Z80 processor, but if it ain't broke, just resell it every decade. But here's where the story takes a turn. Students realized the TI wasn't just a calculator. It was a computer disguised as one. You could program it, you could create games, you could even hack it. Suddenly, algebra class turned into Silicon Valley Light. Tetris, Snake, Mario, even Drug Wars. because nothing screams academic excellence like trafficking pixels during calculus. Websites like ticalc.org and OmniManga popped off, hosting thousands of programs, games, tools, and entire operating systems. It was pure, unfiltered creativity. Kids learned the fundamentals of coding because they wanted to make their calculators do dumb things. And in the process, they learned logic, syntax, and problem solving, skills that would shape the next generation of developers and engineers. And that's the hidden lesson here. Sometimes innovation doesn't start with a degree. It starts with boredom in math class. While TI was ruling the classroom, Casio and HP were still in the fight. Casio pushed forward with color displays, USB ports, and even 3D graphing. HP countered with the HP 48 and later the HP Prime, a full-color touchscreen powerhouse, the kind of calculator that made engineers drool and teachers panic. But TI didn't need to innovate. They had the one advantage no one could beat. Every standardized test was designed around them. Casio was the cool underdog, HP was the overachiever, and TI was the establishment, the dusty but dependable tool that never went out of style. By the 2000s, the graphing calculator was practically a cultural icon. Students customized them with stickers, shared cheat sheets through cables, and yes, ran Doom on them. In 2015, TI released the TI-84 Plus CE, now with color, a rechargeable battery, and maybe 3% more speed. It's 2025, and the same model still sells for about $120. Meanwhile, you've probably replaced your phone 4 times already. That's not laziness, that's dominance. It's proof that sometimes innovation doesn't mean constant reinvention. It means building something so stable the world just keeps using it. So why do we still use these things? 2 words: standardized testing. Phones, cheating. Laptops, cheating. Calculators, trusted educational tools. TI found the one loophole that even modern tech couldn't disrupt: being too old to be a threat. But here's the bigger truth. The graphing calculator taught us discipline, persistence, and curiosity. It didn't distract, it didn't multitask. It made you focus on numbers, on patterns, on logic. And in an age where our attention spans are shorter than a loading bar, that's kind of refreshing. For millions, these calculators were their first computers, their first code, and their first taste of innovation. The graphing calculator reminds us that tech doesn't always have to be sleek or fast to be powerful. It just has to work when it counts. So there you have it, the graphing calculator. A relic of the past, a survivor of the future, and somehow still the most powerful thing you're allowed to bring to a test. From Casio's FX7000G in 1985 to TI's 84 Plus CE still kicking it in 2025. These machines have outlasted smartphones, fads, and even attention spans. They stand as proof that sometimes the best innovation isn't about being cutting edge. It's about being dependable. Because in the end, progress isn't just about speed or design, it's about staying power. Now, if only they could calculate how much we've all spent on AAA batteries. This has been Cash Digest, where we graph the past, calculate the laughs, and occasionally divide by 0.